David, have you ever had a day where you felt, I guess, as happy and as pleased as that from an individual point of view, at least, as you do right now?
I was happy to get out to another no ball. Yeah, look, I don't really know what to say. It really hasn't sunk in, to be honest. You know, as a kid, you dream about getting a bag of green in your first test run, then your first test 100 and so on. And I know that, you know, that double 100 sort of was in a distance from me achieving that, and I managed to get that at the WACA. But today, you know, it just sort of sunk into me that it's very rare that you get these opportunities. You know, given that there's still a lot of time left in the game, and looking up at the scoreboard, and I think there was a time where it was like 71 overs to go still, and I think on 250 odd, I think it was. I was like, this is probably a chance I'm probably never going to get. You know, especially here at Adelaide Oval, the pink ball. You know, I think, you know, I'll cherish this moment for the rest of my life, definitely. But, you know, more importantly, I think you look at the partnerships that we put on. You know, even when Smithy came out and got a quick fire 100-run partnership, and then a little cameo there with Wadey, it just shows how much pride that we have as a batting group with running between the wickets. And, you know, we look at England and we kept on losing early wickets, worked hard to get back to where we were as a top 6 unit. But, you know, just to go out there, it's really satisfying to put back-to-back performances on as a batting group as well. Yeah, it's definitely going to obviously be a moment I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life.
Warner, how does it feel to be to play an epic innings and to surpass great Sir Donald Bradman's record here?
Yeah, look, it's obviously it's, as I said, it's a childhood dream to get your bag of green and then so on. But to achieve, you know, passing Sir Donald Bradman's, you know, highest Test score, you know, you look at it as a kid growing up and thinking, who is ever going to beat that in general? And then, you know, obviously Brian Lara goes on and gets 400. Made that look easy. And then, you know, you had Matthew Hayden get 380. Obviously Tubby against Pakistan, he equalled Don Bradman. I thought Michael Clark might have passed it there, but he declared. And yeah, it's something that in the back of your mind, you never think you're ever going to get yourself, definitely. But when you've got an opportunity like that, you obviously try your best to try and see how good you are against the greatest that we've ever had.
Hand on your heart, you never had any doubt through that AUS period that maybe you were losing it?
Nah, never. Never losing it. What kind of question is that, Pete? Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you're going to have people who doubt you. And to be honest, through that whole campaign in that series, I always said I wasn't out of form, I was out of runs. And I say this not just in hindsight, but if I had my time again, I would have not changed my guard. I wouldn't have listened to some external noises. I would have backed myself more and bat where I have been here outside off, leaving the ball patiently, you know, getting my bat and pad closer together and under my nose. And I am capable of that. I just think in England you can get caught up in playing too much in front, especially with the way that I play. So, you know, I've had to regroup coming back from England. I've hit, you know, over probably, you know, 3,500, 4,000 balls in the nets leading into Brisbane. And then obviously here as well, I batted for good, you know, 2 hours per session as well. And it's not by chance that I've actually tightened all that up. I've actually been working really hard on it in the nets. And yeah, look, I've never doubted myself at all. You know, it's one of those things where I'm a very confident person. You know, whether or not I scored these runs or didn't score my runs, I still hold my head up high and have that little smirk on my face that I always have.
Dave, particularly given what happened tonight with all the wickets and such, do you sort of feel like there was an opportunity there to go on and have a crack at Lara's record or Hayden's record without jeopardising sort of the team result? Because as you say, you don't get these opportunities very often, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I think we really looked at, you know, the weather that's around tomorrow. We wanted to give ourselves a lot of time. You know, if we could obviously have the amount of overs that we did at them tonight and try and get a couple of wickets, we so managed to get, you know, 6 wickets down. If there is a bit of rain about tomorrow, the bowlers get a good rest. only have to come out and then you have to try and get 14 wickets in the last 2 days. So, it wasn't a thing in our mind to go out there and try and get that record or anything. It was more about putting our team in the great position to actually win the test with weather about tomorrow and possibly the day after.
David, do you think it's just coincidence, or there's something to the fact that in the last 10 years or so, it's been like the types of you and Chris Gale and Virendra Sehwag have actually gone on and made triple hundreds in Test cricket? Guys who you wouldn't expect to be Test stars when they start out.
Yeah, look, I've said it before. When I got the opportunity to play for Delhi in the IPL and I met Viru there, he sat down to me and, I'll quote him forever, that he said, I'll be a better Test player than 2020 player. And, I said to him, you're out of your mind. Like, I hadn't played many first-class games. And, he always said to me, he goes, they have some slips, a gully, covers open, mid-wicket's just there, mid-off, mid-on or up. And you just play your way and you'll get off to a flyer and sit there all day and you'll be picking them all off. And that's always just stuck in the back of my mind. That sounded very easy when he was discussing that. But, I don't know what it is. Obviously, Chris has got a lot of power and he can keep clearing the fences. But, it's patience as well. I think it's about, for us, it's about using the crease and we can, manipulate the bowlers. If you pitch it up when you're on and you can drive it, so be it. And if they bowl back of a length and, Sehwag used to whip him off his hip and I try and back cut them or try and little jab pull, we try and get the bowlers off their mark. And if we're capable of doing that, it sets you up for the rest of the day. But you still got to be patient. And, I don't know why it's guys like us, but yeah.
Dave, just because there was, so much time left in the game and, Australia's so much on top, were you involved in any conversations about when to declare or, were you sort of asked for your thoughts on how you were going and how quickly they thought you could score?
The first person I asked was actually Smithy when I was out there batting. I said, how many overs do you reckon we needed tonight? And was literally that perfect amount. Then I came in, I think, at that break and I said, when are we declaring? And, they said, 5:40. I said, okay. So I kept on asking when we were out there, as soon as I got to 5, then 10 past 5, and I was making sure that was still the message, and it was. Until I think that last over before, I think it just ticked over, and I think Painey wanted me to try and get past that 3-3-4 mark.
Dave, can you talk about the physical fitness element of the innings and that part of your game in Australia, running between the wickets and being able to stay fresh mentally as well as physically through that, and I guess also how that ties in with Candice, sort of how much fitness work and discussion you've had with her over the years?
Yeah, if you saw the last run there to the boundary, outran Gaz. He's been doing nothing. Yeah, look, I pride myself on my fitness. If I'm away from the game and I'm not in the nets, I'm either on the treadmill, running the coastal walk. My wife's always getting me out of the house and making sure I'm walking. I walk every day here before games. Done it all the time. I just love being outdoors, and we obviously got 3 young kids, so we're always going to be up early, and we try and make time to go out there and work on our fitness, and I really enjoy that. I think a lot of hard work that's gone into it. There's a guy called Roger Fabry who I've worked with over a long period of time now, and Candice introduced me to him, and he's a fantastic sprint coach, and for me it's my first 5 steps when it's batting or when it's fielding, and making sure you got the right technique. Anyone can build speed if you use your arms, and that's one thing I try and emphasise when I'm out there. The boys always give me a little bit of crap about it, but if you've got good technique, why not use it when you're out there? But yeah, I pride myself on my fitness, so I absolutely enjoy it, but not the 2K time trial. Record that one.
Dave, earlier in your career, you score fast, but not necessarily bat that long. You batted through that first day in 2015, I think, at the WAC against New Zealand, and then now you've done it twice within a week. Bat through a full day of Test cricket, and then today you've gone on deep into the second day as well. Is there anything that's changed in that time? Does it feel different? Like, what have you done that's been able to let you play that really long innings?
I think as an opening batsman, you're just there to take the shine off the ball, to be honest. Make it easy for the guys in the middle. Look, I think early days, I just kept on backing myself in the way that I played, and I didn't really have well, I did have it, but changing the gears and in the right sort of context of the game. I think cricket smarts evolves, and I've had to learn on the run playing Test cricket, and I've been able to play the way that I've played because of my opening partners who have taken the pressure off, who bat the way they do, and then obviously you have, I had Michael Clark who was obviously at 4. You had guys like Mike Hussey that were coming in at 6 and that as well. So for me, it was about trying to get off to a good start. And the only way I knew that was to, sometimes throw the kitchen sink at it. If I got out early, then, I'll kick the can a little bit. But I think over time, I think the last 2 tests, I said last press conference that it's probably the best I've ever batted, the most disciplined I've ever batted, and the most patient I've ever batted. And I just felt, at ease, especially batting with Marnus. We were really talking about the game, and I think sometimes I get carried away with talking about where I'm looking to score instead of actually what the bowler's actually doing and how he's trying to get me out. So I think that will stay in the back of my mind now moving forward.
David, you said you've got goals that incrementally change, from baggy green to first run to first 100. Have you ever made 300 before in any form of cricket? And now that you've got a test one, what's the next step in that chain?
200 in ODI. I missed out here, didn't I, with 10 overs ago. Look, I just think at the end of the day, to try and keep going out there and putting my best foot forward for the team and scoring runs, that's the best thing that I can do, and that's what I want to keep achieving. If I'm doing my job well and putting the team in the best position, we're going to win a lot of games for Australia.
Dave, sort of picking up on Dan's question.
Wait a little bit. Yeah.
With your fitness and your ability to play really long innings and run between the wickets and so on, just thinking ahead a little bit, you're 33 now, are you sort of thinking that you'll continue to play Test cricket for a really long time, or are you thinking that at some stage you'd like to go and play white ball only at the back end, or have you had those sort of thoughts at this stage as to how that might look?
I haven't really thought about it yet, but I think when you play Test cricket, it's obviously less taxing on your legs unless you're out there all day like that. But I think 2020 cricket's high intensity. I'll go back to the IPL. I was absolutely cooked. I think comes the 6th or 7th game, I'd spent most of the time out in the field in the heat and running with Johnny Bairstow, and it was really, really tough and taxing. But I think that is probably where I am now. I think if I had those miles in my legs, it's helping me right now, and I think that's a good thing. I think when you have time off, too much time off, and then you come back into it, it's really taxing on the body. It really does hurt. But look, if you're spending every day, every game out in the middle like that, it's obviously going to take its toll. But look, I really haven't put any thought into what I'll do first, whether it's give away 2020 internationals to free up some time for the Test matches. I think that will probably come around the corner after next year's World Cup. I might have to think about it. I think there's a World Cup 6 months after that as well. So I think something's going to have to give. It's also another opportunity for a youngster to come through. We've got great depth in Australian cricket, and I had the luxury of coming through and being that person thrown out there to sort of a little bit of a testing guinea pig kind of material, and I hope it really does happen down the line, and these youngsters coming through playing 2020 cricket get that baggy green.